Sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of a plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles, sort of thing.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
You're ready to fight, aren't you? I can feel it!
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry, that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
There's the funds.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
He's announcing a catalog, everybody! Hey! Give him a round of applause! Come on, give him a round of applause! You can't afford a home. You might end up in a tent, your rent is doubled, but hey, you've got a brand new catalog.
When I'm Prime Minister, I will keep my promises. Now, another promise, let me try again.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
We need to trigger an axe the tax election as soon as possible.
We'll do it live. No, we'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome to Monday Night Fringe, Monday Night Raw here on the Fringe Network. As we get into another evening of politics, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome in. Good to have Mrs. Fringe here tonight, isn't it? It's so nice to have you.
Surprise. It's like 2 times in a week.
It's like you didn't work hard enough today. You got to come in and see these peeps and have a good chat with everybody tonight. It's going to be a great show, ladies and gentlemen. Usually we stream. We've been starting to stream on Wednesdays. Maybe I'll keep that an official stream night. Maybe we'll stream a couple times a week on the permanent schedule. I've got some show ideas. I'd like to do what I call Unhinged Fringe on Wednesday nights. Maybe we'll get something going for that. But in the meantime, this Wednesday, of course, I announced on last week's stream, Mrs. Fringe and I will be going to hang out with Jordan Peterson on Wednesday while he's in town. So we will not be streaming Wednesday night. As much as I love my community, when the good old Doc asks you to come hang out, you go.
You kind of go.
You kind of do what he says. It's that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot that's going on in politics. Big things happening with big balls, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, we got a lot to talk about. Let's start off with a roll call. Let's get a good old-fashioned roll call going on. Hit those thumbs up. We're almost at 500 viewers. We just started the show on the multicast. Get the thumbs up. Let's see if we can break a viewer record tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Get those LFGs in the chat. Shout out to where you're from. We'll see if we can get you picked up here. Let's see if we can get somebody from every province in the country. Let's go while we're still one. Vinyl Collector from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Welcome in. We've got Kitty coming in from Tweed, Ontario. We got Luca joining us once again, Burnaby, BC. No, we're getting her the chair when we move. She's asked for it that way. Okay, I'm not denying her a chair. We're not on welfare. She's getting a chair when we move.
Although I feel like on how cold the house is that we haven't paid the heating bill.
It's very weird with our ducks right now. The house is freezing for some reason.
I've got a blanket.
We are listing the house next Sunday, so we're scheduled to get back on the market. Mrs. Fringe will be getting that chair hopefully soon.
Yes.
I stand my ground coming in from Camrose. We got Nelson coming in from New Brunswick. Reg coming in from our destination for living, Spruce Grove, Alberta. Reg, welcome into the stream. Airworks, Southeastern Ontario, welcome in. Mystical's coming in from the land of Oz. Wow, could you show me some Only Fringe? That's going to cost you.
Yeah, that's an added.
What is it the Joker says? If you're good at something, never do it for free. Let's go. Mel Legacy. Mrs. Fringe looks great. I couldn't agree more. Raging Against the Machine. Hit the like, people. Let's keep it going. Couldn't agree more on that one either. Stephen coming in from Speedy Creek, Saskatchewan. Welcome in. We got Daphne Divine. She certainly is. Welcome in Calgary. Great to have you here. Thank you to all of our mods, including Ingrid and Charlie coming in from Okotoks that do such a fabulous job here on the show. You guys are great. Thank you for joining us tonight as well. David Brewer coming in from Springfield, Missouri. Good old MAGA country. Welcome into the stream. We got a Viber Sonnet coming in from Shannon, or it is Shannon from Weldon, Saskatchewan. I'm sorry. I apologize. We got Wesley Snipes coming in from Lethbridge with the LFG. We got Jennifer from Victoria. Kevin coming in from Cookstown, Ontario. Paula from PEI. We've got Amara Tsuki coming in from Ontario. We've got Tress coming in from Ottawa. Welcome into the stream. Lee coming in from Leduc. Good old Leduc, Alberta. Welcome in. I've got Gina. Did somebody's comment get removed? I saw it skip for a second there. Gina coming in from Regina. We got Krista from Moose Jaw. We got Montana Mike coming in from Chicago. No, he's coming in from Montana. Welcome into the stream. Great to have you here. Carson, El Gringo Grande, joining us from his vacation home in Porno, Viagra. Welcome in. It's great to have you here with the LFGs. Raging Against the Machine coming in from Cowtown. We got Doug coming in from Terrace, BC. Sean from St. Mary's, Ontario. We got MK Ryder coming in from Calgary. Welcome in. Annette is joining us from Ontario. Sonia stumbled on in here from Medicine Hat. It's great to have you in here. We got Schween Machine coming in from Medicine Hat with the good old Ric Flair. Woo! Welcome into the stream. It's great to have you here. We got Brian Watson coming in. Jordan, good for you. Hey, he's a good friend. We like Jordan. He's good people. He knows how to keep good company. I'll tell you that. You got Chucky coming in from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Addie coming in from Sylvan Lake. We got Youssef coming in from T-Dot, China. Watch out for Olivia Chow. She's crazy. Welcome to Birdie. Howdy from Cowtown. Welcome in. Carol and Gerald coming in from Calgary. Welcome in. Just me coming in from Florida. Welcome in to our American viewers again. Jago coming in from Alberta, Sherwood Park. Welcome in. Louise from Nova Scotia. Devil's Dog coming in. Member of the Patriots Club from Calgary. Welcome in. Kimberly Plant from Aurora, Ontario. Welcome in. We got Len from Alberta. What else do we got here? We got Chris joining us from Sherwood Park as well. Daphne's coming in from another hole in the wall. Well, she's just another brick in the wall. Just kidding. Newfoundland from, is that
Lilac?
Is that Lilac? They're using a weird font. I can't tell. I'm assuming it's Lilac. If I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. North York, Toronto, Ontario for Iden. Welcome into the stream. We got Aaliyah coming in from Barrier, British Columbia. Welcome in. Guys, I got to get caught up in the stream. Look at this chat.
I love it.
It's full of people tonight. Carson El Gringo Grande, not wasting any time, gifting 5 unacceptable fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Welcome to all 5 of our brand new Patriots. I saw a Texas in there. God, all my exes live in Texas. We love Texas.
We do.
Welcome into the fringe.
Alberta's like the
Everyone.
Texas of Canada,
Isn't
it?
We're like the Timu, Texas.
Timu, Texas
of Canada. We're almost there, but not quite.
No.
At least we would be if we had, less strict gun laws and everybody drank whiskey all the time.
Well, you're not allowed shovels here.
So we're not allowed shovels. You can't have your shovels. Everybody, watch your shovels. Mike St. John, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Wish I could support more, but Trudeau ate all my money. Coming in from Sudbury, Ontario. Love you guys.
We love you too.
We love you. Thank you for the super chat.
That feeling.
Amazing support. You guys are fantastic. As Donald Trump would say, you guys are the greatest community on the platform. Absolutely. We have the best community on the YouTube channels. A whole lot of people coming in already. 700 strong on the multi-stream, ladies and gentlemen. Get those thumbs ups in there. Let's get speaking of the Donald. Speaking of the Donald. What is this? What is this? Timu blows chunks. Alberta does not. Okay, but it's a joke, Greg. Relax.
It was a joke.
We're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. I'm here to take your mind off the nonsense that goes into government by watching one stupid asshole talking about Canadian politics. Let's get into it. And his beautiful wife. You guys want some memes?
Yeah.
I think you guys want some memes, right? Usually we save the memes for Friday. Let's bring them on in today, shall we? Let's bring them in. Let's start the stream off properly. Let's get the memes going, shall we? You got the Donald. He's flying over top in his airplane, Air Force One, on his way to the Super Bowl, saying, "My God, Pakistan looks like a shithole." Somebody says, "That's Brampton, Ontario, Mr. President." That's a good one. Definitely a third world shithole over there. No offense to anybody who's living in Brampton that doesn't see it that way, but I've heard rumors. I've never been. Probably never will be. Here's a great one. The USAID corruption story is the worst government corruption story ever. Wrong. Worst government corruption story so far. I like that one. I like this one. Elon's Musk posted this one. Government of the most powerful nation on earth. Big balls. If you guys missed what's going on with big balls, I mean, it's unreal. We're going to touch a little bit on base because with that tonight, because the mother lode's been struck. The absolute mother lode. The Amorist has been struck when it comes to big balls. Can't wait to get into that. Tesla Sexy LLC. Yeah, you got to watch out for those guys too. They're all crazy. Here's Netflix's new project coming out called Coca-Cola. I don't know if you guys seen this, but of course, in true Netflix fashion, it's been replaced because we can't have white anywhere in the media. Looking forward to this project. I'm curious.
Should be a good one.
I'm curious who they're going to get to play Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great movie. I thought it would be a good one. There's Daphne. We've got the biggest balls of them all. I wish we could play that without getting a copyright strike. I know Alex Jones has been rocking out to it lately. Waiting for that Netflix documentary. I'll have to download it because I don't pay for Netflix. That's ridiculous. I like this meme that says, "I voted for the Liberals. It's cool that you're so open about your mental illness."
Oh, I love that one. See, that would have been good for Fridays because it's Valentine's Day.
It would have been great. I like how when Marty up north posts memes now, he has these tiny little watermarks that he puts in there. I don't think Marty made this meme. Is this misrepresentation? I mean, look, I love Marty. He's a nice guy, but is it cool to put your own watermarks on someone else's memes? I don't know. Somebody chime off in the chat if that's a line you don't cross or if he's just looking for some exposure. Either way, shout out to Marty up north for this meme. It's pretty funny. It's pretty killer. I like this one. The Canadian government, of course, you got Trudeau's blackface. The Canadian economy. How could Donald Trump do this?
Yep.
Come on. How can you not laugh at that? How can you not laugh at that? Ruby Dalla chiming in today as well. Ruby getting a good meme in, and it was last second too. This was supposed to be all the memes, but then as I opened up the browser, well, Ruby posted a really good meme today of Mark Carney and Justin Trudeau. That if you know, you know. It's a hard knock life for Justin Trudeau and his mini-me as he's on his way in as good old carbon tax Carney. I was almost going to post the picture of Mark Carney posing in front of a hockey net with a goalie stick. I thought it was a meme and it was AI. Apparently it's not. It's just a really creepy photo of Mark Carney. So we didn't have that in the memes tonight, but we do have David giving $5 super chat. Pierre saying he will cut foreign aid today was music to my ears.
Yep.
I'm going to get into that today. So hang on there. Let's keep this chat moving. Lucas C, $5 super chat. Devastator has arrived in the lower mainland. Canada Post to deliver me this week, apparently. Sorry, completely off topic. Just got the notification.
So excited.
Wow.
Luca.
If you guys don't know, Luca, who is a fan of the Fringe, seen that I was wearing my Decepticons Devastator jersey, and he generously bought a replica Devastator for the background in our new studio to be a symbol of the Fringe. I'm very flattered.
Which is awesome because you wouldn't let me get it for you for Christmas.
Mrs. Fringe wanted to actually get it for me for Christmas, and I said no because I just said it's too much for toys. We can't do that. We're moving. Don't be doing. And then Luca just shows up and says, "Hey, I did this for you." I very flattered. Looking forward to that. Thank you again to Luca. Krista, 279 super chat. Impression request, please. Ric Flair, Olivia Chow, Love Child. Oh.
Let's do it.
You're talking to the kiss steering. Woo!
Oh my god.
Jet frying. Woo! Olivia Chow representing. Woo! Rolex wearing. SOB of all time. And I'm having a hard time holding these alligator shoes down. God, that's terrible. That's terrible. Thank you for the super chat. Woo! Good old Ric Flair.
Oh my god.
That's a one in a lifetime impression. My goodness. We got a lot to discuss tonight. We got lots going on. There's Johnny saying you're nuts. I am.
Yes.
That's
the whole point.
That's why everybody comes here. They love it. As Jack Nicholson's Joker said, now I see the funny side. Now I'm always smiling. That's the way it is here on the Fringe. So welcome into everybody. I hope you guys are having a good night. I hope you guys are enjoying the clown show that's going on around Canada as the Liberals panic. Now, if you watch today, a lot of people said, hey, there's Derek doom scrolling again, finding more sad information about Canada. Today's video was more of a spotlight on what's going on and why each side of the playing field, whether it's Canada or the US, has a stake in what's going on with this 51st state conversation that's happening. When you look at Doge, when you look at Elon's Musk coming in, Jesus Christ, as they say, pardon the blasphemy, it's just a joke. You've got to really take in what the Liberals are panicking over. It's not just the 51st state. It's not because they want the trade war. Pierre Poilievre today snapping back. I really wish, I'm going to say flat out, before here comes more doom scrolling, I really wish Pierre would stop waiting for polls and start saying what he said today more often.
Yep.
When he's talking about cutting foreign aid, he should have said this last week. Not today when he found out it was safe, but last week. He needs to stop listening to his team. He needs to stop with the slogans, and he just needs to say what he knows every Canadian wants to hear from him. Pierre, I know your folks watch this show. If you could do that, if you could start doing that, your stock is going to go up bigly. So start jumping on that train and let's get to work, Pierre. I think things are fantastic. I think what he's announced today is fantastic about cutting all of that. We'll show that clip on the show tonight. But first, we have to laugh a little. We have to have a laugh. Because what the Canadian politicians are afraid of, what Mark Carney's afraid of, what Justin Trudeau's afraid of, what Jagmeet Singh is afraid of is another Doge coming to Canada and auditing the ridiculous government spending that's been going on in the country. Jagmeet Singh, if you watched today's video earlier, was calling out for Elon's Musk to have X banned in Canada, to ban our free speech, because Elon's Musk gave an endorsement to Pierre Poilievre, which, he accepted. How dare he? You know, I'd like to ask Jagmeet who endorsed his Maserati purchase and how he gets his Rolexes, because you can't do those kind of things on government salary.
No.
Either way, trying to act like a tough guy. I don't know about the 14 people that still listen to Jagmeet Singh, but I want to highlight this video really quick. Jagmeet Singh appearing on CNN today. CNN purposely put Jagmeet Singh on to poke the bear. He, of course, took the bait, and now he looks even more foolish. The Americans are laughing at us. Dear Americans, this man in no way or form represents Canada or speaks for us. Ryan Garrettson, by the way, this is a fantastic Twitter account. One of the best Twitter's account on the X platform. You guys should go follow Ryan Garrettson. Show him some love. Tell him the Fringe sent you. He's got some great posts. Anytime I need to find information on X, I always go to his account first. I want to say what he said at the end. This man doesn't represent Canada. He doesn't represent us. In fact, he represents all the people who were booing a girl in a wheelchair over the weekend at, what was it, the Invictus Games in Vancouver? Booing during the national anthem. It's those people he represents and the 14 people that still listen to him. Let's take a listen to what good old Jughead had to say, and then we'll chat about it.
What I would do is put in place 100% tariff on Tesla, directly targeting Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk is proudly touting this idea of the 51st state, so let's hit back at Elon Musk. I've also said we should shut down the supply of critical minerals. Another move that directly targets Elon Musk and his Tesla company. The batteries that he needs require these critical minerals. We've got tools, and we should be ready to use them. It's not something that we wanted to do, but if Donald Trump wants to bring this fight, know that we are ready. I'm putting Donald Trump on notice.
You serious?
He's putting Donald Trump on notice.
He's scared. Trump is very scared.
Is this serious? Are we living in the multiverse? Is this some weird multiverse going on?
It's the Matrix.
I don't know what to say anymore. Like, usually I've got a funny quip or a comeback.
Yeah, speechless.
I think Jagmeet wrapped his Q-tip too tight on top of his head. I don't know what's going on here. Clearly, lack of oxygen going to his brain. The guy who's been propping up the government and holding the country hostage is putting Donald Trump on notice. But you'll notice that he's always attacking Elon's Musk because he doesn't want Elon starting a Doge in Canada. He doesn't want that influence spilling over
in Canada.
into Canada. Have you guys seen what we were talking about that propped up with just a fraction? We talked about gay volleyball last week on the Friday night stream. Have you guys seen what's popped up recently in terms of Klaus and his friends? Look at this. If you missed this, some YouTube channels have said that if you think that the World Economic Forum has any grip on Canada, you're not thinking critically. I don't know why those channels would say that, but I'll put some perspective on it for you. Take a look here at the World Economic Forum. December 23rd, 2014. This is right before Justin Trudeau was about to run for Prime Minister of Canada. $1 million given to the World Economic Forum. Now, also September 29th, 2015, right after Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister, $6 million to the World Economic Forum. Then again, December 14th, 2015. So a couple months later, another $10 million going to the World Economic Forum. Then March 16th, during the pandemic in 2020, $5.9 million going to the World Economic Forum. Are we not thinking critically enough? Does that just seem a little weird to anybody that money's being funneled out to the World Economic Forum? I mean, what kind of...
But they're not influencing Canada.
Where they haven't infiltrated our cabinets. They don't know anything about why would... Well, that's just not thinking critically, is it? Come on. Come on, do better. If you think that statement from Jagmeet wasn't enough, it doesn't end, folks.
But wait, there's more.
Billy Mays here. Just wait. There's more. Let's take a look here. The NDP pulls out of its promise for voters to take down the corrupt Liberal government. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Did anybody see this coming? I sure did. Singh says that if Trudeau Carney Liberals want, the NDP will support them for 2 more months to pass laws to protect Canadian workers. We all knew this was coming. This is part of the master plan. Call an emergency, push in the trade war, delay the election. At the very least, prop up the Liberals. They're making this whole federal election about Trump. They're using Trump to score points to try to win back their scared lefty voters. The left hates Donald Trump. That's why Doug Ford has called an election. Again, if you watched my video earlier, you saw me pointing out that he's talking about the aluminum and steel tariffs and saying, oh, it's all Donald Trump. He did this to us. Mark Carney said that he wants to carbon tax steel and aluminum. So it's not that they don't want any tariffs on steel and aluminum for Canadians. It's that they want the ability to tax Canadians themselves and put the money in their pockets. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. But good old Doug Ford, he's going to use that to get himself another 4 years, because all the woke lefties in Toronto, all the people in Southern Ontario that are fearful of Donald Trump, well, they're all going to vote for Doug Ford now. They're going to give him another 4 years, and then he can sit back and continue to be a closet liberal, even though he's waving the conservative banner, and continue on being the Premier of Ontario as the world's biggest hypocrite next to Jagmeet Singh. This is... I talked about it earlier today when I brought up the farmer protest that's currently going on in England. They said in that tweet, the woke are running out of places to hide. We have to keep kicking them until they're gone. This is why we should celebrate. This panic tells you everything you need to know about moving forward. Let's listen to what Shit for Brains here has to say.
I think it sends a clear message of where we stand. And we want to make it very clear that if you pick a fight with us, we're going to fight back. If they want to recall Parliament, I've said do it. Recall Parliament and let's get to work to put in supports for workers. Let's recall it, get supports in place. There are going to be, by law, confidence votes at the end of March. I'm voting against the government then. We still have 2 months to bring in laws, protections, supports.
So what he's dangling there is the carrot on the stick saying that, hey, I'm still going to vote against the government at the end of the March unless you give me what I want. You give me what I want. Am I the only one that thinks there's a problem there?
Huge.
This is a guy that's, I don't know. I know we have laws in this country, and I know that we're supposed to stick to those laws. What's that thing I'm thinking about again, that when you hold something over someone's head as leverage? Oh, yeah, it's called extortion. Where's the charges? How can we allow extortion in our government and say that it's perfectly legal? Here's what I want to propose. A lot of people are saying, I don't like this 51st state thing. I don't like the idea of leaving Canada. I don't either, folks. I've said it a number of times. I'm not a fan of it. Canada first. I want to see Canada be prosperous. I want to see trade between provinces get ripped down. I want to see pipelines. I want to see us get our GDP up. I went back and forth actually with a viewer today who said, we talk about this all the time. We're looking at America being the answer instead of saying that Canada needs to find the answer. The problem is that we have a socialist government with their boot on our neck, with Jagmeet Singh leading the parade saying, I'm just going to keep this machine going as long as I can.
Yep.
It's not even about a pension anymore. It's about lining their pockets and screwing over Canadians. But here's what I want to propose to people. If the United States annexed Canada tomorrow, there's one reason that I'm pro for this to happen. Jagmeet Singh isn't allowed to travel to the United States. He's been kicked out. He's banned. So Jagmeet Singh would have to leave if we became part of America. Also, all of these politicians that have their green slush funds, that have scandals, that have money invested in places that it shouldn't be, that have abused Canadian tax dollars, they're hidden and protected under a thing called parliamentary privilege. If Donald Trump annexed Canada, well, parliamentary privilege wouldn't apply anymore, would it? So that means Donald Trump could put Justin Trudeau in jail, and all of the liberals that are guilty of squandering our tax dollars
that would be amazing.
in jail. Wouldn't that be...
I'd bring popcorn to that.
Wouldn't that be an unbelievable reason for going over to the United States? Is solely so that Jagmeet Singh gets booted out and we could see Trudeau go to jail, and all of them face some form of kickback for what's happened. Carson El Gringo Grande showing his support of the Mexican people, gifting 10 unacceptable fringe memberships into the Patriots Club. Welcome to all 10 of our new members. Thank you so much. Somebody says you're dreaming, Derek. Well, one can dream. I mean, listen,
it would be amazing.
These are the things I think about when the power goes out in my house. I think it's a silver lining. Speaking of which, I want to point out something today that I pushed in today's video. There were people last week asking, hey, Derek, you're always hawking merch. Where's this 51st state merch? Where can we see some 51st state stuff, or make Canada the 51st state? You asked, and I listened. Ingrid with $2 super chat. Love everything you do, Derek and Tiffany. I appreciate that, Ingrid. We love everything you do too. Thank you for the hard work. There was a lot of positive feedback on this today, but also a lot of negative feedback of people saying, "Oh, you support moving to America." This was a joke. I like the memes. Of course, you can see on our shop right now, Make Canada the 51st State hats are available, as well as the State of Canada 51st State mugs and t-shirts are available. I'm going to shill those on this show because I'm all about saving money. They're on sale right now, ladies and gentlemen, for about the next 36 hours. So if you want to go and grab one, hit the shop button down below. Go grab your 51st State merchandise. That stuff, actually, one of them was told they were sold out today. It was flying off the page. They can't even keep up. A lot of people wanting that, which actually shocked me, because I can tell you right now, and it's not me saying, like, look, you see my only fringe. I'm usually wearing my own stuff. I don't know how safe I'd feel walking around in a 51st State shirt right now.
Yeah, I know, but there have been days where you can't even wear your own stuff without getting...
Oh, I get yelled at all the time. But what I'm saying is that I love my country first and foremost. But I've also said, and today somebody said that it was said perfect in the video, so I'll say it again. I'm not pro-American. I'm not pro let's move to the United States. The problem is we haven't heard the deal yet. If there was one offered to Canada, or Alberta for that matter, or Western Canada, or whatever Donald Trump would decide to put that offer towards, we haven't heard the deal. And honestly, the reason I'm 50-50 on the whole thing is because while I love my country, I'm also stuck in a power struggle with Captain Q-Tip and President Tampon, who don't want to call an election.
But if we were the 51st state, we'd be the largest state and we'd have control of the vote.
Well, there would be no more trade barriers. No, because of the Electoral College, it would be done in a way, because here's the problem. And this is one thing, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's one thing people have said, that if we did become the 51st state, that does introduce potentially a lot of Democratic voters into the U.S. system.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the Electoral College would be reformed in a way to adjust for that, because that's the last thing they want to do. The problem is that this now has become serious conversation. And when I go out in public, despite how I would feel about wearing a 51st state piece of apparel, the conversation that I hear everywhere I go now is 51st state, 51st state, 51st state.
I just want Canada back.
But that's what people are looking for. It's not to be the 51st state. It's to be a part of a country that's done with the woke shit, that's done with all of this nonsense, that's getting back to basics, that's saying we're finished. We're not doing this anymore. We're not participating in this nonsense. The problem is, and people have said it before, well, you have a government who's only temporary. Like, once Justin's gone and Pierre gets in, are you still going to want to become a 51st state? The problem is that when you look at the way states are handled, they have their governors, their senators, and then their presidents. The states have a lot more controls over the laws than provincial territories do in Canada. So typically what happens within your state is a lot more controlled. It's not as wild as it is right now in Canadian politics with Justin Trudeau and the federal government. We saw this during the pandemic with Ron DeSantis. That's one of the things that brought Ron DeSantis to popularity, was his stepping down over mandates and refusing to participate. My problem isn't that eventually Justin will go. It's what happens when Pierre's gone and another corrupt government comes in, and another one after that, and another one after that. Justin Trudeau, the problem that we have with politics right now, the layout of our country, the layout of our entire democracy, is that Justin Trudeau, over the last 10 years, hasn't just broken Canada. He has shown every potential corrupt future politician that they simply need the backing of a minority government with another party to prop them up, with a coalition, or they need a majority, and they can do whatever they want. They can preach woke politics. They can get away with murder if they want to. That's the problem that I have with the conundrum of where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? There have been people in Alberta for decades talking about separating, separatism.
Yes.
And a lot of times when you hear about separatism, people say, well, I don't want to separate, or I think we should, because, people say, well, you'll be landlocked. There's no, like, the conversation was kind of, again, like the 51st state started out as more of a joke or a radicalist movement. But like I said, when I'm out in public now, you hear people talking about it all the time. It's the talk of the town. It's not just filibuster out there in the public domain. It's people are fed up. There's a very small percentage of the country holding us hostage. And the rest of the people that are fed up, the people that are tired, I'll tell you right now, I got a utility bill for today for almost $700.
We don't have a big house.
We don't have a massive, and I've seen people say it before, shut your arcade machines off.
They're never on.
I've turned them off for a month before to see what they cost. It affected my bill by about $12. My machines don't suck up a lot of juice. And we don't turn a lot of lights on in our home.
We live in the dark.
It's administration fee after administration fee after handling fees, delivery fees, carbon taxes, everything else. We only used, out of that $600 and some odd bill, we only used $95 worth of gas and electricity. The rest of it was fees, taxes, corruption, theft.
I can't do that every month.
Theft. The company that provides electricity in Alberta has a monopoly in Calgary. It's insanity. When Donald Trump says, you become a part of the 51st state, you're paying half the taxes. Could you imagine if you went to work tomorrow and you were only getting half the taxes taken off your check? Half?
Instead of, the 45%.
I understand there's cons to that, healthcare, insurance, all those other things. Please don't think that I'm ignorant to it. And I'm not trying to convince people.
No, I want Canada. I don't want to be a 50%.
I'd prefer Canada. I would prefer that Canada fixes its problems. I think with Pierre, we're in a good line to start fixing our problems. But this is where I say again, what we need to start doing, what we need to start pushing for before they get in, because these next few months is our golden opportunity to start pushing our representatives to say, what are you doing to fix this current landscape? Not just foreign aid, not axing the tax. All those things are great, but what are you doing to fix the laws, to give us more power so that when somebody like Donald Trump comes with a better offer, we're not acquiesced to take it? That's the problem. Jordan Peterson said it best with the title of his video last week. The country needs to make Alberta a better offer than Trump. And right now, they're not doing it.
No.
They're pushing for a trade war to stay in power. That's it.
Which is the stupidest thing. They're just looking for a war.
Well, they want every excuse in the world to stay in. They want to stay corrupt. What I have to show you guys, what's gone on with corruption, is unbelievable in the US. We talked about big balls. We talked about Doge, sexy Tesla, all of it. I want you to take a look at what's been uncovered today, because the mother lode is hit when it comes to USAID. The reason I want to cover this is because when you think about SDTC, when you think about Arrive scam, when you think about the We Charity scandal, Aga Khan, all of it, think about what's going on in Canada as we go through this. Here, I'll make it a little larger so people can hopefully see a little bit more. USAID has pushed nearly $500 million, $472 million, through secretive U.S. government-financed NGO Internews Network. So when you think about things like Tenet Media that were getting called out and saying, oh, look at the scandal of Tenet Media, that's a drop in the bucket. Carson with the $10 super chat. My internet in Puerto Vallarta is as fast as I had in Alberta. I pay $30 a month. I use the same amount of power I used in Slave Lake. I pay less than $60 a month. Canada is nothing but taxes. Thank you for the super chat.
Then.
I guess I'm moving to Porno Viagra. It's probably a lot easier to move there than it is to move to the United States. I'll tell you that. Okay, back to Internews Network. It's $472 million, which has worked with 4,291 media outlets, producing in 1 year 4,800 hours of broadcasts reaching up to 778 million people and training over 9,000 journalists, according to 2023 figures. Internews Network has also supported social media censorship initiatives. The operation claims offices in over 30 countries, including main offices in US, London, Paris, regional HQs in Kiev, Bangkok, and Nairobi. It is headed up by Jean Bergot, who pays herself $451,000 a year, again, funded by US taxpayers. Bergot worked out of the US Embassy in Moscow during the early 1990s, where she was in charge of a $250 million budget and in other revolts or conflicts at critical times before formally rotating out of 6 years at USAID to Internews Network. Her bio on Internews and those and other key people and board members have been recently scrubbed from its website but remain accessible at the Wayback Machine on archive.org. Records show the board being co-chaired by Democrat Richard Kessler and Simone Otis Cox, wife of NVIDIA billionaire Trench Cox, both major Democratic donors. In 2023, supported by Hillary Clinton, Bergot launched a $10 million Internews fund at the Clinton Global Initiative. The Internews page showed a picture of Bergot at the CGI, which is the Clinton Global Initiative, and it's also been deleted. It also has at least 6 captive subsidiaries under unrelated names, including one based out of the Cayman Islands since 2008, when Electronics Record began. More than 95% of Internews' budget has been supplied by the U.S. government. 95% of their budget supplied by the U.S. government to indoctrinate, to poison the minds of people. This is where, when people say, you know, I feel like all these networks are pushing DEI, inclusivity, negative talk against Republicans, all these things. This is like a lot of people say, you're just a phobic, racist, misogynist, all these tinfoil hat wearing. No, they were spot on. $500 million has been funded globally to shove this stuff down your throat and poison your mind. This is the tip of the iceberg. What are we doing here? Like, this is it's keep in mind, like I said, we're 1 month into Donald Trump's tenure as president. There's still 4 years to go. And they just started this audit. What the heck are they going to find? What are they going to find in this audit? I mean, it shocks me that government has behaved like this for so long and people aren't upset about it. Their people are upset. They're getting to the point they're upset. But my question is, what's next for Canada? When do we get our form of Doge? Where do we get our form of fixing things? I want to highlight Pierre Poilievre here. Oh, there's a little audio coming in. I want to highlight today where he talked about hang on a second here. I'm going to pull it up. I should have had it ready to go. I do want to show the clip. We talked about no foreign aid. Where is it? Why can't I find it? I had it on X earlier. I'm sorry, guys. I really hate doing this. I had it on X earlier. How amateur is this on the show?
Almost like you're live.
Almost like I'm live and I'm having a... We'll do it live. Okay, here we go. Of course, it's the pleb that pops up. It's always the pleb. He's got everything out here. Let's take a look at what he's talking about. Here it is. Tisk, tisk. There we go. Pierre talking. The problem, I found the video, but it was in French. I don't want to play a French clip for you guys because, you know, we speak English here. We don't do that here. Let's take a look at what Pierre had to say today.
All of these improvements will be funded by dramatically cutting foreign aid, a lot of which goes to dictators, terrorists, and global bureaucracies. we've got enough problems at home. We've got our own backyard to protect. We can't be sending billions of dollars to other places. Often much of it is wasted and stolen and swallowed up by bureaucracies that act against our interests. I will be bringing our money home with massive cuts to these wasteful and corrupt foreign aid grants. So Canadians will decide. With Trudeau, Carney, Liberals, more and more billions of dollars will go to global and globalist organizations, while our people at home are starving and our military is unable to defend our territory. Or they can bring it home with common sense conservatives who will make sure our money serves our people, our sovereignty, and our interests. And we will also go ahead with the already planned defense update, NORAD modernization plans that include, among other things, advanced air-to-air missiles, air-to-air refueling aircraft, upgrades at the forward operating locations in Inuvik, Yellowknife, Goose Bay, and of course the new base here in Iqaluit.
So Pierre nailing it. What needs to go on? What needs to happen? No more foreign aid. No more foreign aid. Two fat people talking about my country. Pierre's not fat. Are you freaking blind? What are you talking about? First off, rude. Second of all, I'm not fat, I'm big boned. Pierre's nailing it. Pierre absolutely nails it with no more foreign aid. I'm very, I mean, somebody's saying it was cold. It was very, look, I mean, cripes. It was in the pool. I wouldn't want to be up there.
No.
I wouldn't want to be where Pierre is up in the Northwest Territories, especially with how cold it is down here, even in Calgary. I can't even imagine what's going on up there, let alone what I want to see, though, is, again, this is where I was saying that for Pierre, it's welcomed. I'm very happy to see this. I'm very excited to see what Pierre brings in. I'll take him at his word. I will take him at his word that this is what's going to happen to Canada. But what I want to see is no more waiting for the polls to say this is what Canadians want. I want him to come out and say this the minute things like Big Balls breaks out, USAID breaks out, where he starts coming out saying, hey, we need this in Canada. I want to be ruthless. I want to audit. I want to go against the machine. You know, people claim that there's a uniparty. I want to break that misconception. I want angry Pierre. I want Pierre, the pissed off Canadian who's fed up with Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh just as much as we are, saying, all right, you want to play hardball? Let's play hardball. What is it Michael Keaton said in Batman? You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. I want to see Pierre go to town.
Yes.
On these people. There it is. Good old glasses, Pierre. Yeah, I want Pierre. What do people call him? Milhouse? I want to see Milhouse come back. I want to see. I miss the smarmy one-liners from Pierre. I miss the attitude. I miss all of it. I know that when you're running a campaign, there's a certain way you got to do business. I understand it's about optics. I understand that he's already got the voters that like the one-liners, that like all that stuff, and that it's time to kind of pucker up and get the other people on board. But look, dude, most of Canada agrees with you. Just jump on the train and let's go. I want to see Pierre go to town. Because I'll be honest, if he doesn't soon, if he just keeps coming off as just another politician, I'm worried that Canadians are going to start talking about 51st state more often.
Yeah.
What else are they going to...
I don't want that. But, I mean...
And he says Dark Milhouse.
Dark Milhouse.
I mean, absolutely. I want to see... I want to see Dark Pierre. I want to see him come out in full force. I mean, look at this comment down here. I want to hear mass deportations immediately. Everyone get out. Cut foreign aid. Leave the UN, WEF, Paris Accord, and any other corrupt BS unity forged by the Liberals. End taxes. Open up resources in every province. Interprovincial trading. Open up pipelines. Enough of this pandering BS. Catchy slogans. We need a real leader, not a uniparty reject. So a lot of people
very well said. Yeah.
Bringing it to, again, uniparty. If Pierre wants to fan those flames and say, I'm not a part of a uniparty, again, I personally, after talking and meeting with Pierre, I don't believe that he's part of the uniparty structure.
Absolutely.
Very nice guy. In fact, there was no slogans when him and I exchanged words. However, I've met his people too.
Yes.
I know what they're all about. And I can tell you one thing that, again, I understand how the game is played, but if Pierre wants to fan the flames of a uniparty, he needs to start speaking out. He needs to show his big balls. And I want to see a Doge in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Throw a one in the chat if you guys want to see a Doge Canada.
One.
Headed up by the Fringe. The Fringe will audit the government. The government won't audit the government to find out the government did nothing wrong. The Fringe volunteers here on the show to be the head of Doge Canada and audit the government. I will be ruthless.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Absolutely ruthless.
You'd need a better name than Big Balls.
What's it say here? No more games with my life. Yeah. CB jumping in. He needs to turf the supply management in Quebec, dictating how much we pay for dairy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to do a lot of things, but that's a start. I see somebody saying down here, Detroit doesn't want Quebec. I don't think Quebec would go. I think they'd split if that was the case. I think, look, at the end of the day, folks, the more that gets uncovered through Doge, the more that we see happening in the U.S. I've said this before the U.S. election. What happens there typically influences what happens in Canada, especially when it comes to its politics. You can already see Jagmeet Singh scrambling, all squirrely, because of this thing. He's before it was Pierre Poilievre, and he's not standing up for workers. Oh, he doesn't like, and now it's Elon Musk, because he's panicking. He's going to get banned from another country. He's going to get kicked out.
He has nowhere to go.
He's got his places to hide. Did you guys see this
creepy
picture of Mark Carney speaking about it? I mean, look at how much he's crapping his pants.
That is real.
At least he looks like it here. I thought this was AI the first time I saw it. This is real.
Creepy.
This is from a guy. There it is. Again, it's the pleb. But he says it exactly what I was just about to say. This man is a central banker who hasn't lived in Canada for 11 years and holds 3 different passports. He's not an everyday Canadian like the picture is trying to portray. Mark Carney is the fakest candidate imaginable.
Probably wasn't even taken.
It says somebody said lurch. Yeah,
Lurch.
it's nasty.
Creepy.
That's just as nasty as his wife. I mean, it's
okay. So you put him and Biden together. Which one's creepier?
Oh, I'd take Joe Biden over him. Not as a representative, but if I had to sit in a room with one of them,
yes,
I'd rather sit in the room and smell Joe's diapers than hang out with Mark Carney. I'll tell you that. Even as an outsider. Here's my question. Why is Mark Carney being given sensitive government information from Justin Trudeau when he's just a representative? He's running in a race. He's not an MP. He doesn't have a constituency. He doesn't hold a seat. He hasn't been mandated by anybody. Why are they giving him? Is that
legal?
No, but when has the government ever done anything legal? It's
or been called out on it.
Why is Mark Carney being given clearance to all of this information, to all of Canada's secrets? Mark Carney would not be safe in the same room with me, says Rick Morris. I would think so for just about anybody. See, Rick says to them it's legal. I couldn't agree more. Come to the U.S., Alberta. The other good parts of Canada will follow. I mean, there's that old carrot on the stick. Hey, right? Come on over. Come on. I'll tell you this. Anytime we've gone down
dollar for dollar, and then we'll do it.
Anytime we've gone down to Idaho, super nice and friendly, really nice people. Love those people. Very patriotic. 11 traders turned into 50.
Yep.
No, it's not from Northern Perspective. Somebody else uncovered it. They just reported on it. Stop giving them all the credit. Daphne, to them, there are no rules. Yeah. Yeah, no rules. Rules? Where we're going, we don't need rules. Or is it roads?
Roads.
I'm thinking roads. Daphne says, I love Montana. Montana. Gotta love Montana, too. They're good people there, too. Do they have a game room in their basement? It looks like fun. Yeah, this isn't a green screen. A lot of people think it's green screen. I wouldn't look this foolish on purpose. I can assure you that.
Sometimes you have
It's-
a 4-year-old playing back there.
Yeah, it's we built this home arcade and it stretches beyond here. It's not
Yes.
just this. I built it during the pandemic because my kids were sick of being locked in the house. They enjoyed the machine, so I said, let's get some more. That was
And then it became a small obsession.
Became a small obsession. What's this? What's Daphne saying?
No. No.
Guys, Miss Fringe gets a little crazy. She doesn't like me talking like walking. Doesn't like it. People in the streams are calling for Christopher Walken to come out.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
How? More cowbell. We got to have more cowbell, guys. Alan, $5 super chat. The deep state infiltrates municipal governments first. That's the biggest impact of our lives. Well, yeah, look at the World Secret Organization. And again, we've talked about it to great extent here on the channel. When you look at installed mayors like Sohi, when you look at Jyoti Gondek, when you look at Naheed Nenshi, who's now vying to be the next Jagmeet Singh. Naheed Nenshit.
That would be horrible. Although that man is just horrible.
Nenshit?
Oh.
He absolutely pummeled Canada.
Calgary. Alone
Calgary.
when
Calgary.
he's mayor here.
Guy doesn't know what's going on. He's terrible. Why can't or won't the police arrest politicians? Well, it's simple. It's the privileges they carry.
Well, and the politicians control the police.
Justin Trudeau, and a lot of it, it's all legal loopholes. This is what look, we've talked about it before when I've said that there are all these loopholes because when the government writes these laws, when they're breaking these laws, they're not stupid. They know they're breaking these laws, but they already have advised with lawyers. They already know what they're doing. They already know what legal ramifications are present and how to get around them. All these laws are written for them. They're not for us. They're not for our protection. They're for theirs. And that's why I said during the pandemic that when the government asked, oh, can we just use this emergency power? Can we just have a little bit more slack, guys? We just need this temporary power for a little while. We'll give it back, we promise. The answer should always, always, always be no. No. There's a reason they want it. Because they want to bend the rules. It's ridiculous. He says now we're getting 25% on steel and aluminum. Donald Trump made an LNG deal with Japan. Did you guys see that? Because Justin Trudeau didn't want to make a deal. Well, Donald Trump said, well, we like money. We're ready to go to work. We'll do it. Look at that. Look at that. Master of Snatch chiming in. Christopher Walken, he's a great guy. Unless you go on a walking one-way sailing trip with him. How? Listen, I don't get out on the seas very much, but when I do, I like sailing, but I don't like hanging around on boats with women. They tend to go missing, if you know what I mean.
You will go missing.
Mrs. Fringe is saying, I'm going to go missing if I go on another boat. How? Shut up, Walken. $680 billion deal with Japan. Look at that. And we just happily gave it up for environment.
We've got money.
Look, even Ron says, wow, wowie, wow. Walken's leaving.
You want to sleep on the couch, don't you?
Shut up, Walken. What do we got here? Let's jump in. Let's jump into the chat. Jeff jumping in. I get the patriotic part. I am too, but I understand the reality of the situation. You should too. That's mostly what I'm talking about. Is that it's not. I think you're being bellowed by the children. As much as I love Mrs. Fringe hanging out on the streams, she may have to bail on the live stream because my children are impatient and they're needy. That's part of being live, I guess, on a weekday. Let's wrap up with some Q&A. I try to keep my streams around to an hour and a half. We've hit all the subjects tonight. We've talked about everything. I'm just going to be rambling if we go on any further. Let's get some Q&A in the chat. If you guys want to chat, ask me anything. I'm going to move Mrs. Fringe's chair because I don't think she's coming back. So I can get more centralized. And if you guys want to ask me anything, throw it up in the chat. And let's get it going. Diane, Derek's great. He's a good guy. I know him, and he's a good guy, says Donald Trump. Oh, he says, so no more walking. It's got to be, Derek is great. He's a great guy. I know Derek personally. He's wonderful. One of the best. Believe me, nobody better than him. Diane, thank you so much. Dustin Ellis, $5 super chat. Instead of the 51st state, why not the USA become the 11th province? Because they'd be losing out. Who's asking if I'm going to run as mayor? No, we announced a long time ago. I got pushed out of that race. It's not happening. Have you talked with APP? Yeah, you know me. Who's APP? Sorry, sometimes I miss that. Do I have a cowbell? No, I gotta have more cowbell one of these days. How much pain before Canada's revolt? I'm not allowed to talk about that on the channel. But I wouldn't think it's much further. Are you still voting for Ruby for Liberal leadership? I'm planning to, because, I mean, I certainly don't want Mark Carney, Chrystia Freeland, Gould, or anybody else taking that reign. I think she'd be a cakewalk for Pierre. Do you think Carney is winning over uninformed voters? I think, again, they're going to use Donald Trump as a fear tactic to get back those lefty votes. That's why I'm saying they want this trade war. It's their whole shtick. The best thing Donald Trump could do if he really cares about Canada, and this is the problem, is he sees the deal with Canada. He sees a lot of money in their future if he could annex Canada, so he keeps pushing. What he should do is back the hell off for a little while so that we can get our house in order. Because all he's doing is stoking the fears for the Liberals, and he's actually helping them more than he's hindering them. At least that's my impression. Do you think we need a new constitution? I think it needs an enema. The question is who puts it together? I think there needs to be a vote on a constitution. We should have citizens vote on what they agree with and disagree with in a new constitution. It's never going to happen, but in a perfect world, yeah. The problem when a government writes a constitution is that a government is corrupt. They're writing it to protect themselves. They want it for why aren't you mad about the 20% carbon tax? I am. But wasting energy getting mad about something that can't change doesn't fix anything. Yeah, I'm mad about it. Here's the question I have. Since all the Liberals are talking about getting rid of it, why aren't they getting rid of it? Why don't they beat Pierre to the punch? Right? Do you know if Doug Ford can be removed when Pierre's elected? Not if he gets another mandate, as far as I know. They don't have recall legislation in Ontario. Oh, the Alberta Prosperity Project. No, I've reached out. I haven't heard back. Sorry, when people say APP, CBFIG, I don't know what people are talking about. No, I've reached out to Alberta Prosperity Project. I haven't heard back. Another good reason to be 51st state, no more Singh Hortons. Singh Hortons is in the US. I don't know if you know this. They're actually a US company now. That would probably help them, if anything. Do you feel that maybe Trump has pitched anything to Danielle Smith? You know what? I am going to ask Dr. Peterson about that when I see him on Wednesday, because I'm curious. I don't think he'll tell me, but I got a feeling that some conversations may or may not have happened already. I don't think anything can come from it is the problem, because I think Danielle knows her people. Danielle's a proud Canadian as well. She doesn't want to, she's spoken about Alberta separation many times, and she said she doesn't want to separate from Alberta. She wants things to work. She's still fighting for something to work. If the Liberals really cared about fixing the issue with tariffs, if they weren't egging on a trade war on purpose, where's the czar that we were going to send down there? Now that Mrs. Fringe is gone, I found out from my sources Jagmeet is the top, Justin is the bottom. Oh, well, there you go. She would have been happy to hear that. Probably had a good laugh. Please don't. She's going to take it if it's fair, but I'm pretty sure Carney's already got it. Carney's getting installed. Don't you guys know what's going on already? He's getting installed. It's not, people talk about it being a democratic vote. There's nothing democratic about this election. Why do you think they're giving him inside information? Why do you think they're giving him government information and briefings? He's being installed. That's why they're breaking the rules. They don't care. He's already there. I thought Carney was already elected. He's behaving like it. He's being installed. Who will be named as the czar? I don't know, but I volunteer. I'd be happy to do it. Yes, that's a joke. Come on. My neighbor's just listed his house across the street from me. It was on the market 6 days and sold. The neighbor said for 14,000 below list. He got transferred. And had to sell. I'm not sure where your friend was listing from, but when you have to do those things, I mean, that's part of the game. People smell, it's like sharks in the water. They smell weakness. They say, look, we got to get this house sold. They probably just took the cut to get out. You don't want to hold two properties, right? Michael, $2 super chat. Being 51st state outweighs trying to fix in 4 years. Well, again, I'm not going to advocate for one over the other. I understand people's positions to stay. I understand people's positions. I'm one of these people, again, mostly because I worked in business for a large portion of my life. I'd like to at least hear an offer, entertain one. I don't necessarily want to take it, but I'd like to hear what the offer is and if we're seriously considering it. And I would like to see it go to a vote. To be honest, I would like to see where here's what I propose. Is that if there were a large percentage of people that wanted this to happen, I think they should do it by province. And then people have a choice, because keep in mind that if Donald Trump bought Canada, we would be bought out. Each individual citizen would be bought out financially from Canada. It's not just here, you're now American. There are things to gain from becoming American. Anybody who's had a mortgage in the last couple of years probably, well, in the last decade, would probably have their property paid for. I don't know if you know that. Because somebody did the math and said that every Canadian would be entitled to, well, I can't remember how much it is, but it's in the six figures. Part of what the argument is when you look at the US coming in is that the majority of Canada's population lives within about a couple-hour drive of the US border, no matter any major city. Maximum. Like, you look at cities like Edmonton. Like, Edmonton's only, what, a 5-hour drive from the US border? Winnipeg's a couple hours. Calgary's a few hours. Vancouver's minutes. Regina, a couple hours. Major cities in Ottawa, Ontario, anywhere like that, again, across a bridge. Diane becoming a member for 2 months. What is the first thing Pierre should audit after he fires the RCMP brass? Audit everything. I don't know. There's so many things to choose from. I think you should do both. Daphne becoming a member for up a year now. Daphne, welcome back. Why are the Conservatives not saying anything about Carney standing like an MP, talking at the podiums and more? He's not elected. They should be stopping it now. That should spell it out for people. If anything, even if Carney is installed, that should spell it out for people moving forward that want to vote Liberal, that there's something wrong with the system. But they're not using their brains. They're never going to use their brains. They're not going to think rational. All they're going to hear is Trump, Trump, Trump. When you think about how close, what I was saying was, when you think about how close everybody already lives to the U.S. border, I'd like to at least hear a deal, have a vote, and if there's people that want to stay, if each province has a yay or nay vote, whichever provinces decide to stay in Canada, there maybe is some form of a negotiation that this portion of Canada gets annexed, this portion stays, based on the support of those votes. I don't know how you'd do it. Again, this is complex. This is part of the reason it hasn't happened. But I can tell you right now, at least from the conversation that I hear, if Alberta were to hold a vote tomorrow asking, do you want to be the 51st state? I have a very bad feeling that that vote would go through. Because the problem is for people who have lived in Alberta for a long time, rural Albertans that have their whole livelihood wrapped up in this province, beef farmers who can't get their products to market, who are getting killed by the carbon tax, oil and gas workers, regular farmers see a business advantage to be a part of the United States. It isn't about patriotism at that point. It's about their financial futures. As a father of 3, and I'm being real with you guys. I'm not Clyde. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I just want to flee to the United States. I would really have to think about the future for my children if that vote came across. Yes, I love being a Canadian. Yes, I love my country. But if I was given a good deal, a very good deal that said, here's some cash, pay out your debts, invest, do whatever you want, lower taxes, and better future for your kids, more prosperity for jobs, economic powerhouse. When my father moved our family to Alberta from Manitoba, when I was 15 years old, I was livid because I grew up for 10 years in Winnipeg. All my friends were there from kindergarten all the way to the 10th grade. I'd done my time there. They were lifers. And I was furious as a teenager saying, you dragged me away from all that. And I said, why would you do this? And my father said, at that time, this was 1995, by the way. He said, Calgary is the city of opportunity. If you lose your job in a town like that, as long as you're prepared to work, you can find a job later on that day. I know it's not like that now. But it's part of what made my father move to Alberta in the first place was the opportunity that it yielded for his family. And that's where I worry that if a vote went through in Alberta, most people would vote in favor if the deal was good. Because, again, as a father of 3, I'd have to think about the future for my children. What does this mean for my kids? What does it mean for their future? Do I like the idea that shovels are now accessible to everybody and that kids sometimes take shovels to schools and that puts risk? Yes, there's cons to everything. Yes, I don't like that portion of the United States. However, hopefully things would be handled better here. What happens to our CCP or CPP? Sorry, I always say CCP. The same thing that would happen when Alberta pulls out of it, that they're already talking about. If Alberta pulls out of the CPP, the federal government has to give us back what we've put in. They would owe us a metric shit ton that they don't have, by the way, because they've already spent it. So that's why they're arguing for us not to take it out. That's why they want to play politics with it, because they'd have to give it back. Yeah, we'd be owed all of that. It's for everybody watching this stream, everybody watching it either live or afterwards, this is the serious question I have to ask you. Remove your patriotism for a second and let's just look at the deal. The possibility, fictional possibility. In everybody's day-to-day life, while you work your job, while you're making ends meet just barely, you're living check to check, you're getting these massive utility bills with carbon taxes, you're watching fuel jump up every day at the gas pump, you're paying more for gas to get to work than you pay to feed yourself. Speaking of which, food is at an all-time high price. It's unaffordable. Our dollar is losing value constantly. Jobs are going out the window because we've left our door open to immigration, which, again, people have said, well, we're going to deport illegals. I don't see anything about mass deportation to free up jobs for Canadians. I don't see denying citizenship for those that came here that maybe thought it was going to happen, that they're told, sorry, doors are closed, go home. So as jobs are going out the window, as things are unaffordable, a guy like Donald Trump comes along, and whether you're renting, whether you own your home, any situation, and they jump in and say, every Canadian who decides to become part of the 51st state, if this province becomes a 51st state, we're going to give each citizen, let's just say $100,000. I know that's not the amount, but let's just say we're going to give you $100,000 cash. You get to keep your jobs. You get to keep everything the way it is. You're paying half the tax. Your fuel has just become affordable. Food is still expensive, but it's not nearly as expensive as it used to be. You get to keep more of your paycheck. There's no transfer payments. There's no carbon tax. There's no tyrannical government holding you hostage. There's no, like, USAID be damned. That's all coming out. But this is a country that still functioned, by the way, while the government was doing all this. Our country is in the toilet. Somebody puts that proposition at your foot and says, what do you want to do? If citizenship and your patriotism to your country wasn't an option, and somebody's waving that carrot on the stick to say, your life is going to get better than it is. The struggle as a Canadian, and the struggle that I ask you is, what would be your limit to decide, I think I need to take this? And it's not because I'm trying to convince anybody to take it. It's because you're going to see a lot of people starting, and it's already begun, that people are going to start saying, yeah, it's a better deal. I'm seeing it in the chat all night. What amount would it take for you to say, yeah, okay, I'm good for it. I'm in. And would you ever? Or do you say, I love my country enough, I'm going to stay and struggle. I'm going to live in a corrupt system where our government does whatever they please. They hold us hostage. They abuse us. They treat us like a battery farm. They want to bring in 15-minute cities. They have installed mayors. Who wants that? That's the problem. And as great as it's going to be when Pierre gets in, the problem I have as a Canadian is I don't know if it's enough. Because it's not all up to Pierre. What about our municipalities? What about our provinces? Keep in mind, a lot of these premiers that are touting Team Canada are on Trudeau's side right now because they stand to gain a lot. Pole Pinkish Humanoid, $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Alberta 51, we'd be the first star on the next row of the Old Glory. There you go. Thank you for the super chat. The problem that I see for Canadians, and I can't say it enough because I love my country. Justin Trudeau and his Liberals have taken the maple leaf. I want you to think about that maple leaf for a second. That was a symbol across the world. That was a symbol to say we're the nicest people on earth, that you don't fuck with Canadians. Pardon my French. People from America used to put our flag on their backpack when they went abroad, just so people would be nicer to them. We had respect around the world. If the chips were down, you could count on a Canadian to be there. They don't need to wave their flags and scream and holler and fireworks and patriotism because they love their country at heart. They know it deep down inside that anything else is just a show of emotion. It's not a state of mind. The maple leaf meant something for those who fought in the wars, that died for this country, that died for our freedoms, for our rights. And the problem is that in the last decade or so, all of that's been trampled on and tarnished by globalists who think they have control over its citizens. The maple leaf has been crushed. Justin Trudeau has wiped his ass with it. And no matter who comes in, as good of an agenda as they have for the people, I don't know if it's enough to fix the corruption. I don't know if it's enough to get us back on track and rid ourselves of this problem like Donald Trump is doing in the United States. What you're seeing right now with USAID, what you're seeing, again, we're only a month in and they're already scaring the crap out of the Dems, out of all these corrupt establishments. It's a great time to be alive in the United States. People say, well, Democrats will just come back in and undo it all. Do you really think they're going to be this corrupt again after the shitstorm that's coming their way? Or do you think they're going to have to be a little more careful moving forward in case this happens again? I don't know if you guys seen Barron standing up. A lot of people cheering him on. You don't think he's going to run for president at some point? I'm not saying next term. You're going to see another Trump in office at some point. Times are changing. What Donald Trump has done is he's drained the swamp. He's not only drained it, he's flipped it on its head. This is a man who loves his country. He isn't taking a salary. He refused his pension. No other president has done that. I think he said except for George Washington. You can't argue how much that man loves his country. I found an amazing video the other day, and again, it's got a lot of music in it that I can't use because of copyright, that talks a woman in Trump Tower who's a squatter, who's been there for 13 years. She's black, by the way, for everybody who says Trump is a racist. She was caught squatting in Trump Tower, and she refused to leave because she said, I'm not safe on the streets. I can't go out on the streets. 13 years ago, Donald Trump was called. He came downstairs and he spoke to her and he said, you can stay here for as long as you like. Doesn't charge her a dime. He brings her fresh flowers every week through the building. She's fed 3 meals a day and she isn't charged a dime and is told she can stay there for as long as she likes. This is the man that everybody says is a racist. And those words, by the way, came from her mouth directly on a video, not a news reporter. She said she owes her life to Donald Trump and his generosity. A man who loves his country. But he also loves a deal. He's a businessman. He sees the money that Canada stands to gain by tearing down interprovincial trade, by harnessing our energy, our minerals, our agriculture, our industry, by getting rid of the crap and saying, let's take it as a business. Western Canada in particular can generate Donald Trump a lot of money. And that goes back to Jordan Peterson. We shouldn't be worried about Trump's tariffs right now. We shouldn't be worried about czars. We shouldn't be worried about all these other things. What Canada should be worried about right now is Alberta packing up and getting out of here. Again, as somebody who lives here, I'm telling you, it's all I hear when I go out in public. Everybody's talking about it. Justin Trudeau and those liberals should be panicked. Pierre Poilievre should be panicking. He's from Alberta. He knows the attitude out here. That if we're not careful, the straw's going to break on that camel's back. And I got news for him. It broke a long time ago. We're just putting up with it because we love our country. But we are damn close. And that's why I said earlier, think about if you were in a province like Alberta. You're being abused by your government. You see no end in sight. Patriotism be damned. A guy like Donald Trump comes and makes an offer for an easier, affordable, better life. And all you got to do is put an X on a piece of paper. As much as I love my country, I will freely admit it would be damn difficult to turn that down if it were a good deal. And I believe that I don't have a heart inside this body, but a maple leaf that pumps out blood. I love my country. I love everything about my country and what it stands for, what it stood for before Justin Trudeau completely decimated it. And before every other nation on earth came in here, started telling me how to live because my way of life was offensive. I've gone with my family to the United States on vacation. I've looked as we drive down the roads in places like Seattle. We went through Washington State. We went through Idaho. We went through so many towns where people have their American flags on their doorsteps, on their porch, on flagpoles, on their cars. They're wearing them everywhere. They're proud of their country. I want to live in a life where somebody says your country sucks and a bunch of people get in their face and say, "What did you say?" I see videos of people who are now talking about how do I say this without being racist? People from Islam saying, we want to start dating sites in Calgary, but only if you're Islam. No white people. We have running clubs that are only for these nationalities, but no white people. Everything's anti-white people, anti-Jew, anti-everything else. What has happened to this country? And as friendly as we are, why have we let it get so bad? That's what scares me when you look at installed governments, is this new generation of Gen Z style babies who want free handouts that don't care about patriotism like you and I do. That really they're just looking for the BBD, the bigger, better deal. What guarantees them a future of sitting on their ass and complaining, well, I'm just not happy. I'm offended. Pierre Poilievre gives me hope for this country. I've already said I'll call him out when it comes time. I've cautioned people about some of the things behind Pierre Poilievre, but until he shows me that, I'm going to look forward to his leadership. The problem is I just don't know if it's going to be enough to fix this country. Nomatica, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for the 279 super chat. I appreciate that. See, rigor mortis has it here. PP will be facing a stacked Senate. He'll not be able to legislate effectively. This is, again, corruption of government. Again, think about that for a second. Think about all that. And then Donald Trump waltzes in and says, listen, Alberta, I love your oil. I love your minerals. Why don't you come over to America, be the 51st state? Here's $300,000 for each family. They can pay off their debts. They could pay off their mortgages. They could buy an American house because the prices will be more affordable. Who's going to say no to that? No more red tape on building homes. No more bureaucracy. No more high taxes. No more carbon tax. No more transfer payments. Adequate military. No more pandering to other countries. No Paris Accords. No woke DEI. I'm sure that smacked into the microphone. I apologize. How do you say, the question is how do you say no? How do you say no to it? Dustin, $2 super chat. Let's talk about today's announcement. We did talk about that earlier. There's a whole lot of corruption unfolding in the U.S. too. I don't want to make it sound like the U.S. is this glory place that it's, Shangri-La. There's a lot going on in the U.S. We're going to cover those things too. Nomatica with another 279 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. If Alberta's gone, who's going to fund Quebec? Nobody. This country, and I don't care who wants to say it, because somebody yelled at me in the comments today, and I should have pulled it up. I should have taken a screenshot because they were mad that I was criticizing Doug Ford. And they said, instead of bitching about my premier, why don't you and the rest of Alberta leave and do us all a favor? I will happily, sir. I will happily pack up and leave if that's the way Alberta is seen in this country. Those are the kind of people that are wrecking Canada. People with that mindset. And that's the problem. Because as I was talking with another viewer earlier today that said, part of the issue here is we're not talking about how we fix Canada. We're always talking about 51st state. We're talking about just leaving and packing up. I agree with them. That is part of the problem. But the issue is when you're dealing with delusional morons like that say, hey, Alberta should just go. And Albertans are starting to say, hey, we should just go. How do we fix it? Pale Pinkish Humanoid, $10 super chat. If Alberta votes to join, we won't be able to breathe from all the migrants. You guys don't realize that it's not that Alberta supports everything. If one province were to leave this country to join the United States, it would be a domino effect. Other provinces would be saying, well, what do we do now? People don't realize with all the rules on interprovincial trade just how much we rely on each other in this country. If British Columbia left, we'd have some issues with lumber. Alberta leaves, we have issues with oil and gas and with other exports. Excuse me. Saskatchewan leaves, same thing. If Manitoba leaves, we've got a problem in our agriculture sector. If Ontario leaves, well, we'd probably be better off. I'm kidding. It's a joke as a Westerner. Come on, guys. Don't take that one seriously. I was going to make the same joke about Quebec. We all stand to lose something if a province leaves this country, mostly our humanity, our identity as a country. But Donald Trump is fed up, as I said in the title of this video, with King Justin. We're fed up with King Justin. The problem with desperation is that when somebody throws you, if you're starving and somebody throws you a meal, not too many people turn it down. And Canada's starving. So I'm I'm in Sarnia. I'm sorry. It was just a joke. Come on. I love all Canadians. Except the ones that don't want us to be here. They can piss off. Look, that's my fear, is that it's not just me everybody's got to worry about. It's what happens if an actual deal gets proposed and it's one that we can take. People are starving. He's going to throw us a meal. Who's going to say no to that? That's something to think about. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try wrapping up the stream. We're going to bring it on down. I want to thank everybody who contributed tonight and supported the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. We have the best community on the platform. Carson, El Gringo Grande, for gifting all the memberships you did tonight, as well as your super chats. Thank you so much. Mike St. John, David Jejna, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Lucas C, Krista M, Ingrid Stewart, Alan W, Diane Sylvain, Daphne Devine, Dustin Ellis, Pale Pinkish Humanoid, Nomatica, Joe Two Pops, the $5 super chat that just came in. Thank you so much for that one as well. I appreciate all of you. I don't mean to preach doom and gloom on this channel. Look at their Devil's Dog gifting 5 memberships while we're on that train. Thank you so much for doing that. I don't want to preach doom and gloom. I don't want to be separatist. I don't want to preach, for everybody not to unify with each other or delusions of grandeur. Part of the reason that this channel was started was to fix our country. I want to sit with like-minded individuals to figure out how we fix our country. We have to talk about the good and the bad, and we have to figure out where we meet in the middle, and we have to figure out what's our plan moving forward as Canadians. All I ask is that when we go into a federal election, when we go into any election, even municipal, anybody who says it's not worth my vote, this is the time your votes matter more than ever. It's time for Canadians to stand up and speak. When you have voter turnouts of 30%, that's not how we move forward as a democracy if we want things to get better. And if we really care about this country, we need to get active or find an alternative. I want to see each and every one of you back in this stream Friday night for Friday Night Fringe. Mrs. Fringe will be back. I apologize that she had to take off. We knew it was going to be a risk bringing her in for a weekday stream, but she'll be here Friday night. Again, no stream Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'll be with Jordan Peterson, hanging out, living the good life. Can't wait for that one. I know I keep bragging about it, but I'm excited. I can't wait to hang out with him again. Big shout outs again to everybody who super chatted tonight, everybody who hung out in the streams. Give a thumbs up to the stream. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if there's something else you want me to discuss on Friday Night Fringe that we didn't hit on tonight. With that being said, again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great week. Look after yourselves. Stay warm. If you're like Carson and you're down in Puerto Viagra, enjoy the weather, I guess. Enjoy your walk on the beach. Look after each other. Keep your stick on the ice, ladies and gentlemen, and keep your heads up. Good news is coming our way. Tune in for tomorrow morning's video about the truck protest in England. It's going to be a banger. I can't wait for you guys to see that one. I will catch you guys here with Mrs. Fringe Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, here on the channel. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this stream.